People of Earth, thank you for joining me, Star-Lord New Thor 7, as I discuss this wave after wave after wave nor'easter parade. We are now on winter hurricane number 3, which professional meteorologists call a nor'easter. I am not a professional meteorologist. I am just a total badass that is awesome and has a heart with the power of 1,000 suns. So let's look at the storm we got going on right now, and it's going to cause just a little bit of severe weather challenges up and down the entire eastern seaboard. Now, when I say a little bit of challenges, I mean we don't necessarily know how challenging this thing is going to be, because Mother Nature tends to have some pretty wild surprises. And so if you're looking at this storm and you're looking at the severe weather we've seen over the last year and 4 months, you should be pretty well prepared ahead of time. But I do like to say, it is best to pretend your government doesn't exist, so you're going to depend on yourself, your family, your friends, and your neighbors. This is our storm. So if you want to look at that and say, hey, no big deal, that is your call. That is not what I would recommend. I'm in Houston, and if I had a storm like that near the Gulf Coast, I would definitely be taking precautions, and I would probably be going north. So, I highly recommend you check in on your flooding areas. Which areas are going to be seeing the most amount of coastal flooding? Because one thing we're watching is when this thing bombs out, and when a storm bombs out, that means it goes from like 1,000 millibars of pressure to over a 25 millibar pressure drop. And this thing is estimated to go from about 1,000 to 967, which would be a 33-degree pressure drop. And that would be pretty nasty, with some pretty nasty winds that would and will probably cause damage and coastal flooding, storm surge along parts of the coast. Right now, we are all a bit concerned about Massachusetts, not only because they've taken a lot of damage over time. The videos that I've been pulling but haven't had a chance to go through have been talking about how like a lot of places in Massachusetts and even Maine haven't even gotten their power back. So this is a serious situation, but have no fear. Just be prepared. And it's a good time to come up with new ways to do things, because the old ways haven't seemed to be working for anybody lately. What we're looking at here is low pressure. And low pressure, the blue, usually means bad weather. So there's a lot of bad weather on Earth right now, man. Things are changing. Earth goes through changes. People go through changes. The sun goes through changes. So what we're doing is we're figuring out the changes and the best ways to adapt to them. We're going to meet these challenges head on. And, you know, since 9/11 to now, kind of like the doomsayers, and they're like, oh my God, we're all going to die, or like, God is going to come back and kill us all, or we're going to get flooded, or people who are telling us we need to fear some boogeyman, they're pretty much played out, bro. So we are entering a new era where the best people of America, the Americas and Earth, are going to rise to meet the challenges. And we are not going to let the doubters, the naysayers, and the doom popsicle suckers affect what we need to get done. Because, man, they're just like the nihilists Albert Pike said he was going to unleash. And they're just up in the peanut gallery, you know, leaving comments on YouTube and tweeting, thinking they are changing the world, making a difference by pointing out how everything's horrible and everybody's bad. That is not the case. Good people shall lead again, so have faith. But we're going to have some pretty serious challenges that if we don't face, we could face some heavy losses in both infrastructure, public property, and people, which we have seen over $1 trillion worth of damage done in the United States in the last year and 3 months. So, we got a situation. We got volcanoes popping off. We got the weather acting wild and weird. Like, look at this. So here's our nor'easter here. And then we got the big beast in the east back in Europe. You got a bunch of wackiness. Like, what is going on here? Man, we got like eyeballs staring back at us. What kind of shape is that? Mother Nature, what are you even doing? What if Mother Nature's on drugs? Or in love? Sometimes being in love has the effects of like drugs. good or bad. So we got more storms rolling in, but we're concentrating on the storm at the moment. But I wanted to show you the picture because we do have severe weather changing. At times it's almost like the magnetic pole is shifting, which it is, and at times it's like the magnetic pole north is multiple north poles. And we did have an Arctic vortex polar split that happened a little while ago, and it's caused the weather to get extra wacky. What we're looking at here is tomorrow at 7 p.m. And if you'll notice, our giant quasicotal nor'easter winter hurricane is bashing its head into the Canada, America, eastern North Seaboard. So, and also at this time, the entire West Coast is going to be seeing our wave after wave after wave period of rain and snow. I think last round, one of the mountain areas got 8 feet of snow. It's a lot of snow, bro. There's a lot of snow, even for the most seasoned snow bunnies out there. So yeah, in a situation like this, I'm going to pick wind, which will then cause coastal flooding. That's always my biggest concern. Dang, I forgot to bring up the river flooding. Let me do that right now. I just made a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's just low production value, which is a mistake. So I apologize. So let's watch the white screen as I ask you questions. How are you doing today? Are you anywhere near this storm? Are you prepared? What do you think we can do to improve the situation? What do you think we can do to overcome the media and internet, which is so fixated, like its mandate is on dividing, conquering, and distracting us all? What can we do to overcome that, to where the sane people can get their message to the other sane people, and we can begin to make major strides in making our world a better place? Well, here's good news. Locations in rivers and flood, we only have 100 at the moment, and we got up to like 240, 250. So my fears about the middle of America flooding have at least come down. So that is good news. And we only have 71 near flood stage. So it's definitely not an optimal situation, but it is better than it has been. So yay, high five. But let me pull up the layers so we can see the snow totals. As with most of the storms we've seen, they keep increasing as we get closer to the storm itself. So prepare for, we don't know how bad this is going to get, but now they're talking up to possibly a foot or two in some of these areas. And for some reason, people in the east are just obsessed with snowfall totals. And I don't usually get into snowfall totals. I'll get into rain totals because they have more instant, like if you're going to get 50 inches of rain in Houston, that's going to be a problem. Like if you're going to get 30 feet of snow, yeah, I'd say that's going to be a problem. But usually flooding, wind, and power outages are the biggest threats we would have to face instantly that would put people's lives in danger, or driving when you shouldn't be driving. We never recommend anyone drives on ice, ever. I don't care how good you are, everybody else on the road is not as good as you or as well prepared with their snow chains and everything. So pretty much everybody, in my opinion, from here up should be prepared to see another big storm. And then let's check this here. And remember, while the models have been saying, hey, this is going to be a ain't shit fish storm, I've been saying, I don't think so. I think it's going to be another nor'easter number 3. It's going to do damage. And so once again, it looks like I'm correct. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just pointing it out. And so as we watch the models of the GFS predictions, even though we're focusing on this storm, we can see we got several waves coming into the western Pacific, rolling through America, strengthening up, and then causing more giant major storms, nor'easters. So it is time for us to prepare and change the way we do things, because that ain't getting shit done. Ain't you ready to start kicking ass, having fun, and building cool shit again? Like comedy comes back, good movies come back, rock and roll comes back. Everybody would love it. Everybody wins. So that is what I recommend. We got to prepare for this. Or we don't. But if we're not, we should at least do our best to enjoy the failure. Though, can you enjoy failure? I don't know. I'm sure somebody wrote a book about it and was like, yes, you can totally enjoy failure. Twitter is the place for instant storm updates. Follow Weather Twitter, #WX Twitter. Highly recommend Cranky Weather Guy, king of Weather Twitter, @CrankyWXGuy. And while you can find breadcrumbs to this theory, either in the 2 web entries, setting up the storm, or the billion tweets in the feed, he covers the storms extensively from the very beginning, a week ahead to now. So if you want to read his information, please go to his site and check it out. Setting up the billion tweets in this feed, it all comes down to this: a strong eastward kick up north, a strong eastward kick off South Carolina. In the mid-levels, this thing is punted east. So the guidance is saying that it's going to continue to trend east, which will mean it won't have as many major impacts as it would if it trended more west. If in this curveball situation, let's go back a second. So if you'll notice, I don't know, it's still, to me, knuckleballs. So I live in Houston, so I'm allowed to have post-traumatic stress disorder on severe weather. So this thing is taking it east. And so if it were to come more west and kind of plow straight up, that would do more damage and bring heavier wind totals, more coastal flooding, more storm surge, cause more damage in unprepared areas. So, it's, like I said, it's nature. We never know for sure. It's like the sun ain't a light bulb that just puts out 60 watts. And Mother Nature is not just like a clock that's going to do what the models tell it to do, or think it's going to do. Here's our giant wind field. And the Atlantic Ocean has become like an angry bathtub over the last few weeks. Why? I don't know. We all have our theories. One thing at THORNEWS is, I think I'm really smart. Technically, I'm a genius. But I sure as hell don't know anything. And I almost feel like I know less now than I did 5 years ago. I understood the world a whole lot more then. Now, it's almost like everything's confusing. But that feels like a product of design. And who was it talking about? Oh yeah, giant wind field. So either way, whether you're looking at the GFS or the European models, they're both agreeing that it's going to cause a giant wind field. And that wind field is going to carry on into Europe, which has been seeing a lot of severe weather, snow, rain as well. And so if we're watching these wind fields, we got a situation, and we should be putting more of our mental focus and our resources towards adapting to this stuff. And then, this is what I pointed out last night, as I was on the astral plane with Sage and the White Queen, Phoenix and the White Queen. They're like, we almost got a second system coming right out to join and hook up with this one. So, it's a real situation. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not sure the government is making plans for the people. So the people have to make plans for the people. I think we're going to be okay as long as we get to the point that we are our own hero and that we can all be heroes. And that people are profiting off dividing us. So we need to acknowledge that, overcome the bullshit, stop hating our neighbor, and get on to being awesome and doing awesome things. So I highly recommend everybody stay aware and awake for the storm and overall the weather situation in 2018. Because it's wild, it's wacky, and it's crazy. It's kind of like us, but we're going to pull through. Because every time it looked like humanity was going to fall off the brink into the volcano of doom forever, our sense of humor, our resilience, and our ingenuity, creativity, and ability to work together has saved us every single time. I put no faith in bad guys. I have known some amazing people throughout my whole life. Hey, they're the ones who taught me how to be amazing. And also, I believe in God and his or her master plan. I don't think God has genitalia, but I don't know either way. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. So, got a lot of info to go over. I am off the astral plane, and I'm no longer, I've taken a break from conversations or non-conversations with Phoenix and the White Queen. So, I should be here for the next 24 hours walking you guys through this, but sometimes when I say that, something happens, and then I don't get to do that. So, like life, we'll just take it moment by moment minute by minute. Do your best, stay cool, be cool, and make me proud. That's why I always like when people are like, hey dude, I'm totally prepared. You know, we're ready for this. And I'm like, thank you, kick ass, I'm proud of you. So, make me proud. And through it all, no matter how bad it gets, try and keep a sense of humor. What I need everybody to do is to get better at having a real sense of humor. Being funny. The world needs more laughter. Laughter's medicine. That's why I'm a doctor, baby. And I love you. Talk to you guys soon. Stay cool. God bless everyone.